to.
So Jones sits in second place, that silver medal position for the time being, with 10 competitors to go, including Melanie Schwartz of the USA. Originally from Toronto, Canada, now residing in Aspen, 28 years of age, former Canadian ski team member, and has dual citizenship, so she's competing under the USA flag here in Russia.
She trains in Aspen alongside Tyler Walker, and so many of these racers are just so aggressive. She's standing a little high, and you want to get in a little bit better tuck. Ski's getting a little sideways there. That's really going to slow her down, but not a bad line on these steeps. Gotta watch that outrigger.
Melanie Schwartz coming on here. Now, she has the option in the standing class to ski with a prosthetic. She decides not to. What are the advantages, disadvantages if going 2 skis as opposed to 1?
You know, skiing with a prosthetic is, you can develop pressure sores, and if you have the balance, you might as well just use what you have and take it down the hill.
Well off the pace of the leader, Medvedeva. Melanie Schwartz working her way through the course here in the women's Super G standing division.
You really have to be careful in the speed events, standing too tall, because that wind will really slow you down. You see her getting in her tuck.
12 seconds off the pace, good enough for third place for the time being. So the Americans right now going second and third with Allison Jones and Melanie Schwartz respectively. Inga Medvedeva of Russia is your leader on the mark to beat, a time of 128.19, but a strong performance by Schwartz. And Sarah, as we saw yesterday, just surviving this course and getting to the bottom puts you in contention.
They know this course pretty well now through the downhill training, and you have speed specialists and you have tacticians who may do more of the giant slalom and slalom events. But these guys spend a lot of time doing speed training in the U.S. and the Japanese team as well.
Performance in the Super G. Now, Melanie Schwartz for the United States. She was 10th in the Super Combined in Vancouver when she represented Canada. And now represents the US. She too has won a slalom race on the World Cup Tour this year. And I can guarantee you it probably wasn't in conditions as bad as this. .05 the leader's time, and Schwartz picking her way down here. We stop the clock at 40.99. Three more skiers to come after Melanie Schwartz. Schwartz skiing in the LW2 class. The skiers have a significant impairment in one leg. Oh, gets a little sideways now. Oh no, she has gone. I thought she'd managed to pull it back, but Schwartz got a little twisted in the upper body and comes to grief inside to the finish. Disappointment for Schwartz. Melanie Schwartz of the United States, a winner on the World Cup Slalom Tour this year. The first slalom in Coronet Park in New Zealand. Raced for Canada in Vancouver, where she was 13. How was she fair here? She was actually a torchbearer at the Vancouver Paralympics. Skied down Blue Mountain, I think it was, with the torch. Where's she going here? Tentatively is the answer. She's trying to stay as high as she can, gets close to the gate to avoid these big ruts, and it will cost her a lot of time, but it should mean she gets to the bottom safely. And When you're standing in the start hut and you see a couple of skiers ski out before you, it does play on your mind. And she's 11 and a half seconds off the pace at the first intermediate time check. And Schwartz determined to make the second run here. She can afford to be a little bit more aggressive as she goes with a higher start number. And Schwartz will get to the bottom, and she is 18.38 off the pace. Goes into 8th position, much to the delight of her supporters. She'll be back. Melanie Schwartz of the United States of America in the LW2 class for skiers that have a significant impairment in one leg. And her advantage over Kurosheva, our current leader, at about 8 and a bit seconds. So Schwartz on her way, 13th in Vancouver when she represented Canada. Now she skis for the United States, and she won the opening slalom race of the season, of the World Cup season that is, at Coronet Park in New Zealand. That was the only slalom race on the World Cup tour that she's competed in. And doing a good job on these top turns. The time of our leader Kurosheva at the split 2:10.48, and well, Schwartz is 9 seconds inside that, so added some time to her advantage. Schwartz, oh, just a little stumble. But she's still upright and still going. 2 from home to take the lead away from Kurosheva. She will do, and she leads the new time, 2:31.08. And she extends her advantage. She's the quickest on the second run by almost 1.5 seconds. So the final standings after the second run of the women's slalom. In the standing category, Anja Roffers of Germany takes gold in the time of 1:59.86. Inga Medvedeva of Russia second, 6.85 seconds behind Roffers. Petra Smazova of Slovakia third. She picks up the bronze, 7.06 off the pace.
Final 3 competitors to go here in the women's giant slalom. Melanie Schwartz.
Nice push out of the start. She's one of the few that had a double push out of the start.
With all that extra blue dye from earlier courses and the flags, it's almost like being a Plinko ping chip dropping through here, weaving your way through the course. Look at that.
It's great. The more blue dye on that course, the better they can see in these low light conditions, which have developed since the sun went in. But it also makes this section here.
So not confusing? Not like someone tried to stripe a parking lot inebriated?
Not at all. Getting a little sideways, she's going to have to let it run down at the bottom.
Especially with the time that Marie Bochet of France threw down, a 2:38.84 combined. And Schwartz well off that pace.
You see the difference in the snow coming off of her ski. This is definitely going to be a slower time. She has plenty of time in her career to do whatever she wants in this sport.
And Schwartz will check into 14th place for the time being now with just 2 competitors to go. Rothfuss, she will go into second